Chairman, I just,
Third.
All right, thank you. Okay, we are rolling, so we'll call the meeting to order. This is a special called meeting Monday, August 22nd, 2022. That was the first item on the agenda, calling the meeting to order. The second item is to discuss and possible action regarding the approval of ordinance O-12-2022. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of McGregor, Texas, abandoning certain street right-of-way interests to be sold to adjacent landowners and authorizing the city manager to execute quitclaim deeds. It's a portion of 8th Street, and more commonly known as Northeast 1st Street. And let me make an announcement real quick also. We have 4 council persons here this evening. 2 are missing, but we do have a quorum. So we will proceed, but council, please be aware, based on the number that we have here tonight, no action can be taken unless there are 4 votes. All of us, it'll take a yay to pass any action tonight. So, all right, please proceed.
You've already authorized this to happen, except it has to happen by ordinance. Plat's been drawn. This is the replat of the Rosedale Apartments. These are all the old lots and all it's cleaned up, and that'll be one big lot. But you recall, we had 8th Street, which doesn't exist. It's actually Northeast 1st, which is not in the right of way. But in order to get, this will be a dedicated fire lane, and it also has to have utility easements allowed under it. And so it's just the north half. The south half will still exist as right of way because it serves as one lot back here. And if the railroad ever shuts off Northeast 1st, then we'll probably turn around and dedicate that to that lot, and we'll let it replat and have his own private drive. No reason for us to have a drive in there, but we're just going to keep it open now so that we can proceed. Basically, what we're doing.
Kevin, what do you mean by the railroad could cut off Northeast 1st? Do they have the ability to do that?
Unless you want to assume that I don't think you'll ever win a lawsuit against the railroad.
Yeah, but they have the authority over that?
That is their land. That is all railroad land, everything south of that land.
So we've got a city street that runs into railroad land, huh?
You want to hear the fun part?
yes.
You remember when we had to close first in order to do all this
Yeah.
work for that railroad
Yeah.
crossing to close it?
Yeah.
It didn't exist.
It didn't exist.
So what we've done between that closure over here and what we're doing here fixes most of it.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
again, if they ever decide to close this off for whatever reason, or if they sell it to someone, we could allow this to be opened or just plat it into a lot for that, because you cannot abandon that lot.
And so we don't have an easement over their land, huh?
Correct. Pretty interesting, but just want to make sure that you knew what that looked like. Again, this will be dedicated to fire drive and secondary entrance for them.
And the primary entrance is?
Up here. We're gonna have a nice gated area with
Okay.
a gated, it'll be an inlet that's gated so that there's storage there, and that's where the mailboxes and stuff like that.
And on the back side, City View Security will be entering his business from where primarily?
Right here?
He'll be using the Northeast 1st Street, huh? Or the back, I guess it can't come from the back side because it's closed now, right?
No, it's not, no, he can't come from there.
Yeah.
Can't go down.
There's enough room to get around that corner, and it'll all work out.
And so again, describe what happens if, to him, to City View Security, if the railroad closes Northeast 1st.
We basically deed this on this little corner that comes out here to him.
Okay.
It makes it a really strange looking lot, but gets us out of the road business.
Okay.
And all of it will have to have, there's water on one side and gas on the other right now. All utilities have been allowed for to go through there, need to go through there. Water, sewer, gas, electric, phone, cable, it's universal easements, if you will.
Okay.
Show that other side, please. Just cleans it up, it's flat itself, that cleans it up a little bit. You can see how this makes a square here.
Will the apartment complex have another
I know they have the entrance on, and exit on Garfield. Won't they have to have like another, like an emergency?
That'll be in here somewhere.
Yeah,
It'll be
okay,
somewhere along this.
yeah,
Same thing that you have at Creekside, they've got that one on the
Yeah.
east side that's an emergency exit.
okay.
And fire department also has a Knox box on it. I think it has a Knox box. They're talking about yeah, that's just Knox box right out of Creekside.
Everybody has to get a Knox box now.
We went to a Omnicom system for the traffic lights, in a couple of places I've been, and then we made everybody that had these have an Omnicom on the roads. Push button on that. But that's not here yet.
I don't know if we have enough lights.
No, you don't. No way to justify that expense. Anyway, that's it.
And the quit claim is going to the developer then. Okay, is there a motion by ordinance number, and then we can continue to talk if we need to?
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 0-12-2022.
There's a motion and a second on item 2. Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion carries. To 3, discussion possible action regarding the approval of resolution R-11-2022, a resolution of the City of McGregor, or the City Council of the City of McGregor, authorizing the city managers to submit an application to the Office of the Governor, Texas Military Preparedness Commission for the Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant for the infrastructure expansion projects in the McGregor Industrial Park.
You put into this last year, it failed. Last year, we included a whole lot of stuff with SpaceX. That included a whole lot down Blue Bonnet Drive. We took that out this year. Basically, we approach it in 2 pieces, try to get the stuff that's in, behind the SpaceX gate done first, and then the next time we'll do the other. It was a little too pricey for them last time, it was nearly easy to tell, but that was a strategic change this time. I spent about 3 minutes changing the resolution, just to change the dates, otherwise it's exactly the same resolution. Didn't have Angela here to do all that today, so you'll see it's pre-signed. This is the same signature block as the last time. We can change that if we need to. I just didn't have time to fool with it before the meeting. The packet itself, about half of the packet is in there, all the salient stuff that they have. And it's pretty much fill in the blank and then the illustrations that they have are not attached, but it's just this road and that road and this water line and that water line. So they have laid out inside the plan.
3.175 million total.
Yes, sir, and SpaceX is writing a check for more than half of that.
And-
Better than 50% rate.
And those improvements are capital improvements on our property, so they become ours.
Correct,
Okay.
unless SpaceX decides to buy it. The meters, on this side of the water, or at the water tower, we meter all of those after a year. So if they ever do buy it in the future, that's all their problem back then.
Okay. By resolution number, is there a motion on item 3?
I make a motion that we approve the resolution R-11-2022.
A second.
There's a motion and a second on item 3. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion carries. To 4, discussion possible action regarding appointment to the Airport Zoning Board.
This is the one that I introduced to you last Wednesday night.
Yeah.
The only thing that has occurred to me since then is they have their councilman from the area and their mayor on the airport zoning board. You may get upset with me, but you may consider putting your mayor on there appeal to the, yeah.
Law.
Yeah, I don't see how they can do that.
I think there's a little bit of an issue there. I don't think they were thinking about it. I think they're just in a hurry. And again, zoning board of adjustment's not gonna meet unless there's a big problem. So we got some time to fix it. So when you do the zoning board of adjustment, please don't put the same council person on there as you do the zoning board. Beyond that, it probably doesn't matter that much. It could get testy. If it gets testy, then it's gonna go to the zoning board of adjustment.
So we have,
Let's get this out of the way before the deal next month.
so we have two people on each board, and we can, and I know Chad Ainsworth and Tony Fox both have to come off because they don't live in the city limits.
Correct.
And so Kyle Pascal on one and Kevin Houchin on another, we can choose to appoint or not appoint there.
Correct. Either one of them are good for it. Whichever one's on the zoning board is the better ones, I think, we'll just see something here. I think that was Kyle. Can't remember. It's Kyle on zoning and Houchin on zoning board of adjustment. and the other one.
Yeah, Hutchin is on Board of Adjustment.
Okay.
So Kevin, before I even want to consider, how often will they meet? I mean, I'm just strung out with working meetings.
This issue probably 3 times at most. But anytime there's something comes up similar to this, if there's any zoning change to be made, but once you get the zoning set for 88 acres plus whatever we add on the north side of that, which is already in process of trying to get started. Once those zonings are done, they're gonna get built unless the builder comes in or the developer or something different. Pretty well done. I can't imagine that happening, but that's always happens. I've been here 11 years and this one.
Yeah. And we think something's coming out there, though, that's the issue.
Well, this developer is very serious. And he's very experienced and very well heeled. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Even the city of Waco kind of agrees with what they're trying to do. It's been a while since we've had that level of understanding of the project. I hope it's almost.
Well, I'll consider sitting on the zoning board side, since they have their mayor and council. And then, council, what are y'all's, and again, I'm just pitching my name out, what are y'all's thoughts about the other person there? I don't mind if another council person wants to sit there, we can match them, council for council, if you want to.
It's not a bad idea at all.
I mean, we can certainly do that, and then I would recommend that we would, certainly in the airport zoning board, we would put, if you wanted to, again, do council persons, we would put 2 different ones from whatever we would have named on the other. So, I mean, and there are 4 of us here tonight, we can cover all those spots if y'all want to.
Matching protocol, I think, I like a lot.
Yeah.
That's good
Yes, we
form.
could. No, I'm just kidding. For what we want, no, just kidding.
So,
Who's coming off?
well, no one necessarily is coming off, but we can appoint anybody we want to cover those 2 and to cover these 2.
Oh, I see.
And again, the only thing we're really doing is matching what they've already done, which
Yeah, I
is
can
a
see what,
council
I can
person.
see what they've done. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely see what they've done.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm with you. I just got lost there. Sorry.
yeah,
Okay, I'm with you.
2 other gentlemen are not gonna care.
yeah, no,
No.
I know they're on 100 other things.
They got more to do than they say grass up.
So is there anybody else, I mean, y'all have any thoughts on what you would like to do? Does anybody wanna, I mean, again, there are 4 of us here, I say let's just divide and conquer.
Okay.
So, anybody else have a strong feeling about wanting to be on one versus the other?
Just put my name
Yeah.
on
I'm
one.
ready to go out the airport, so-
I'll serve where needed.
Yeah, just
you know, as an easy division, let's make it boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl.
Yeah, why not?
Okay with that?
Just do this, put us somewhere. It'll be all right.
Okay. So we need to, so Sherry, Renee, either of you have a feel for whether you want to be on the zoning or the adjustment side of it? I don't know which one would be more important or not.
I'm with the one that needs the least. No, I'm just kidding.
That's-
I mean, again, I will serve where needed.
That's probably the adjustment, because that's only gonna come about if there's a problem with what the zoning board does.
Okay, then I can serve on that one, only because,
Sherry,
again, I do
will you
feel
serve
like
on
it's.
the zoning side of it? with
Sure,
them?
sure, it's fine.
Okay. So one of you then will need to make a motion to appoint Sherry and I to the board.
Another, and we had to make a motion to appoint them.
Yep, that's right.
Well, I'll make a motion that we appoint Mayor Herring and Sherry Adams to, Councilperson Adams to the McGregor Airport Zoning Board.
I second.
There's a motion, a second, as stated regarding the appointments. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion carries.
Okay, and I make a motion that.
Yeah, hang on, let me real quick, let me just read all five. Yep,
Read
so
all
5 is, what we just talked about, discussion possible action regarding appointment to the Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment.
We got ahead of ourselves.
Carry on.
I make a motion that we put Renee, Councilman Renee and Councilman Stephen on to the airport zoning board,
Adjustment,
adjustment board,
yep.
board of adjustments.
This is kinda odd, but one of you's gonna have to second that.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second, to appoint councilpersons Flores and Deutschman to the Board of Adjustments from the McGregor Airport Zoning Board. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, no. That motion carries.
You know, every time I belong to something and I don't show up, they put me on something. Y'all were real nice to
This is
Andrew
true.
and Paul.
They get voluntold.
Okay, to 6 is presentation and discussion, and possible action regarding awarding contract for design and construction of a splash pad at Anfield Park.
So we've been working with craftsman, a gentleman by the name of Jeff. He's been, we've been working with craftsman, a gentleman by the name of Jeff. He's been really good. Kind of got us started on our first proposal. It was definitely over budget. The committee kind of met, so we scaled it back a little bit, and this is kind of what has come in. That's within the budget that we were wanting to stay within. That gives us enough money to do all of our infrastructure and all of our needs, but still gives us a really good playground. So one of our main features is the water tower. Second in your packet is a custom bulldog that we're looking at. I didn't have the slide of it, but that way your page 2 is actually a photo of the bulldog. It's large enough for kids to actually sit on and play on. But this is the site for the splash pad. It is where the sand volleyball court currently sits at the bottom, down the hill from the pool. So that fence will disappear. It'll be, of course, open and free to the public. And then this is kind of the footprint of what it'll look like when we get moving forward with it, should that be approved tonight. I'm going to give you a couple of images. It's about 2,500 square foot. It does come with 2 different seating areas that are canopied with umbrellas. I have some pictures later in the slide as well. And then if you'll notice at the very top up there, it does have the this little roundabout. That is a concrete bench that actually shoots water out from it. So kids can sit and play on it or relax and they get water on their feet, or even adults. So then it's a little light from the photo right here, but this is kind of all the spray features. And then it'll give you a center line of where the spray feature actually sits, and then it'll give you a radius of the water overlay. So it kind of tells you where the water touches when the spray feature turns on. So it kind of covers the entire area really well with what the kids would be playing in and running around and being able to do. And then pictures of all the things that we're wanting to put in it. So of course the water tower, We do have a train that has a slide on it, so it is something kids can climb on and play on. And then, of course, the railroad crossing is a water feature as well. It sprays water out at the top. And then the one custom feature that the committee really liked was our bulldog, so that kind of falls within the McGregor theme. But it also comes with a bunch of other smaller features. So the bottom left picture is the worm, and then they've got the umbrella, different spray features that spray sideways or straight up. A lot of little kids really like the ones that spray directly out of the ground because they can sit on them and watch the water spray.
Yes, I do.
So we do have quite a bit of those. Then those ones are of course less expensive, so they're really good fill-in places between some of our bigger structures. And a couple more, and then that top right corner is a photo of that seating area, that little bench that has the water spray feature. And of course, my daughters love the one in the bottom and right there in the middle, because you can crawl under it. I believe that's all for the photos. That kind of gives you an idea of what the spray features look like. Now, in your sheet, it might be a little small, so I can always get you a larger image of it. There is a name to each one of those and to the corresponding picture, so if you're wondering what the feature did. And then on the original map here, it kind of gives you a layout of where all of them are, because they're labeled on the left of what this feature is, and then that corresponding letter is on the right for the map.
We can send that to them electronically too, and then they can see it a lot
Yes.
better. So I should have thought of that.
That way you can zoom in, that does make it a lot easier. When the committee met, we did a big sheet of the plan, so we could take a look at kind of what they look like.
It's important to note this is designed in the money. The designer was brought to us by Walker Partners, and the company is on the buy board. The contract, however, Charlie called me just before the meeting. He's been tied up, so he's gonna have to finish the contract. So you'd be approving tonight based on his completing the contract, and he and Jimmy and I approving it and Jimmy signing it. So we've done that a couple of times before it works out real well. It's kind of nice when you have an attorney sitting on council.
How much of the area is shaded?
The only shaded area would be the two seating areas that are just off of the sides.
Okay.
You're thinking like an older granddad somewhere
I
down the road.
am.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it gets hot around here.
But you can sit and get wet while you're sitting watching.
It's 75 degrees outside. What do you mean?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's unusual.
I
For
want to
August.
say, I might have missed it, there's a slide in here that shows me all the seating features. There we go.
But, okay, so this is gonna go where the sand volleyball, so essentially, there's a fence that goes around the sand volleyball?
There is, so that fence will stay temporarily while they're doing construction, so that
Uh-huh.
it kind of makes our construction fence. And then the fence itself will actually get moved up to the top of the hill where the pool is. So the pool will have its normal season and its regular costs, however, the splash pad's open to the public without a cost.
Okay. Is there, have y'all talked about maybe having an entrance there between the splash pad and the, I mean, cause there are shaded areas up around the pool where essentially, you know, the parents are, you know, if you were having a birthday party or something at the pool and you could, you know, you could sit up there and you could watch, right? It's close to the splash.
Not where you'd be able to see, we do have a concession stand, little hut right there that wouldn't give you a view down the
Oh,
hill.
it won't, okay.
Yeah, the only other shading up there is that where the little kiddie pool is.
Yeah, that's
But
what I was
that's
talking
shaded,
about.
but it's over the pool, yes, sir.
Okay.
So wait, I'm a touch confused. Is it going in the swimming pool volleyball area or Amsler Park volleyball area?
Swimming
The swimming pool
Okay.
volleyball area, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Steve and I wrestled with that a little bit myself. I had a concept originally of having a fence where you could fence it off and make it just part of the pool, or then when the pool closes, gate that off and make it just open.
Yeah.
But then that kind of defeats the purpose of the little kids and being in it. So it's just a little bit different. And that's something we can wrestle with as we go forward.
So there are some concrete steps that go up that hill right now. We don't plan on removing those, and there is a gate. We're gonna keep the gate at the stairs. So
Okay.
we can always make a plan moving forward. pool, but we don't anticipate having to pay to get to the splash pad, so how do you monitor people coming in and out, and then it becomes, the lifeguards have to do it, and so it just, the logistics of it didn't make a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense to kind of fence it off and let people just use the splash pad. So, but we're, I mean, open to any sort of recommendations
I
or
was just trying to
suggestions, and we
think
can definitely figure it out, absolutely.
if there was a way to incorporate the two, I mean, not to charge money for the, but have an access if people wanted, cause otherwise you have to, what, exit the pool area? And then go around.
We could probably keep a gate on those steps, and so kids could go down, and even parents could watch, but then you're gonna make, and it's not a reason not to, but concrete steps and wet feet
Yeah.
don't do well together,
Yeah.
so they'll just have to be real careful. But we'll take a look at it soon.
Okay.
Well, and the plan that we have does put a gate at that top of the top of the steps, right there at the pool.
Okay.
So we anticipate putting the gate in, we just weren't sure how to manage the logistics of using both of them at the same time.
Sure. Okay.
What did we ever come up budget-wise? I know this money's been sitting aside in the 2018 CO.
There's about $500,000 that's sitting there right now.
Okay, and where are we budget-wise?
454 for the splash pad itself as it sits like this. The only thing not included in that is the infrastructure. We would have to put in a fire hydrant and a T-line going to the splash pad as well as electrical. And then coming out of the splash pad, you'll notice we're doing a little bit of work to the pond right now. There'll be a dechlorination station, and all the water that comes out of the splash pad will drain into our indoor park pond.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. So the water that's used at the splash pad, it ends up in the pond, it's not recirculated back up?
No, the cost of being able to do that was what we would be able to afford.
Is that right?
I will say that pond was looking not like a pond here
I'm
recently.
gonna look at it again. You
Well-
haven't looked at it lately, have you?
Well, we've
Actually,
had
they've
rain,
been-
thankfully.
How many truckloads of slime did you take out of there today?
Oh, gosh, I bet at least 30.
Oh, my goodness.
I'd like to say we brought in the rain today when we started the pond project to clean out the bottom of it, because it's 6 foot of just jelly-type dirt material that's awful.
How'd
So
y'all
we're
get it
trying to-
out? What'd you do to?
Rented a track hoe.
Yeah,
The
we've got an
track,
excavator, and they've got the backhoe, and they're just loading everything into the trucks and dropping it off at the wastewater plant where we can kind of let it dry out, and they'll be able to use that dirt for other projects.
We thought
Wow.
about spreading it around the park, and then we decided that's not gonna work real well, cause
That would
it
be
smells really bad.
disgusting.
Yeah, that would've been.
So does that tank, I was just wondering, of course, y'all know your job, but curious if it was clay lined and we pulled out the clay lining in it.
I don't know, I think it's not lined at all. When we originally looked at it, that
Yeah.
was one of the issues, and if it drains now, we'll just have to wait until it does dry up, or we'll pump it and dam it and clean it up and clay line it, but
Yeah.
we're talking.
As far as I can tell after speaking with, Lot, about 6 feet down, there's a whole lining of caliche that he anticipates is
rock-
very solid.
It's the rock shelf, and it should be okay.
So, he anticipates we shouldn't have any problems from moving forward after cleaning out the bottom of it. I will tell you, if you're missing a fishing pole, we've probably found it.
Gosh,
Wow.
Were there a
A
lot of them?
bicycle, there was a trash can, that, yes, it'd be a whole fun Instagram page to share with you all the photos of the things that have come out of the pond today.
Wow.
Those were fishing pier, not fish pier, fishing structures.
Well, they were well-hidden fishing structures. So, yeah, they're working on that this week, and they think it'll take them about the week to get it done, even with the rain. They were able to work well into the rain today. It was when the lightning started coming in that they put up all the big metal equipment.
Our quotes to have it done were in excess of $30,000. So we decided to lease a machine for $3,000
For $3,000, yeah.
and do the best we can. It hadn't been touched in 11 years that I've been here. From what I understand, it hadn't been touched before that anybody could remember.
Well, if it ever really dried up, someone could drop a dozer in it.
Well, if there was ever a time, it dried up recently to drop a dozer in it, so.
Who put the little pools out there?
We're not sure. I got a phone call from a park supervisor asking if we knew about them. There's 4 little ponds out there for the ducks.
I was like, that's so
If you swing by, take
nice.
a look. There's 4 little kitty ponds out
I
there.
Yeah,
usually
I
would have
wasn't-
said Jerry Amsler, but he doesn't live here anymore.
I didn't know if it was a citizen or if it was Parks Department.
It was pretty sure it was.
That's awesome.
Was it
Ducks
you?
are fine.
No, but I did feel bad for them, and I
Well,
was
no,
like,
so
where
I
are
will
they?
tell you, the ducks can definitely get into the pool area, and they've been hanging out in the pool. We have cleaned up after them, so they are definitely finding water where they need it.
They're not dumb, they don't go stay down in the creek, cause that's where the cows are, and the foxes, and the bobcats.
Okay,
Well-
so back to the splash pad then, 450,000 plus some infrastructure costs, we got 500 there, so how much short do we think we're gonna be?
You've got it covered, but you do have some money coming in for a contingency.
Yeah, I know SpaceX is gonna pitch some money. Yeah. But I was just curious how much we think the infrastructure's gonna cost if the splash pad.
Our anticipation of it was about $50,000, and that was giving us about $10,000 of contingency should something happen.
Okay, so we'd be right at it then.
We'd be right at it.
And how long would this take to build?
They're about 30 to 60 days out from the time that we sign the paperwork of getting started, and from there, they'd be open before the pool open next summer.
That'd be great. Yeah. So one other question, again, being the,
Hey, we can do it.
being the old guy who don't have kids that age anymore, is that still a big thing, splash pads?
Oh, yes.
It
It's a
is?
big
Oh,
thing.
yes.
Really?
The
So-
one-child president's been excited by the pictures that her
Yeah,
mom
she's
has
been
put up.
Yes.
Wow,
Are
well,
you
that's great.
Familiar with the Woodway, Hewitt, like, line?
Yeah, it was 15 years or
There's
20 years
a very small
ago.
splash pad on Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
They have a long pole with a giant smiley face on the top of it. My girls love to go and see Mr. Smiley. That means they wanna go to the splash pad.
Yeah, all right. So that's still a thing,
It is
huh?
definitely still a thing.
So I've been informed that Kendall Houch and Carly Evans are gonna cut the ribbon.
We're gonna recreate their original video.
That was
so
probably
you'll
what,
have to see it.
on their list 10 years ago or however long ago
Yeah,
that was?
my daughter has informed me that I failed her. Without,
So was that on the
without any
2000?
compunction, she rubbed it in.
2030.
When was that? Was that 2010 we did that, or?
Uh,
Nah,
s-
it'd have to be after that, wouldn't it?
It was 2012, 2013.
2012, okay.
No, because it was before I left the city, and I left in 12. Never mind. It was right around this
So
time.
it was then, huh?
Yeah.
2012.
Okay, well, sounds exciting. I'm glad we're able to provide a service back to the city. I think that's great.
Mhm.
Okay. So what do we need to do tonight? Approve the design and construction contract subject to Charlie's once-over and
And yours.
my signature?
You and Charlie agreeing on it.
Okay, so is there a motion under item 6 to that effect?
I make a motion to award the contract for design and construction of a splash pad at Amster Park based upon Charlie and Mayor agreeing.
Second.
There's a motion and a second under item 6. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion carries. Okay. That takes us to request comments from mayor, council, city manager, anybody. All right, so when's the next meeting now? We get back on regular schedule?
Regular scheduled meeting for September is second Monday, whatever that is. It won't be the first Monday because that's Labor Day.
That's right.
Second Monday.
Second Monday,
Second Monday.
we're always second Monday.
That'd be about the 10th, won't it?
Thank y'all
No,
for,
no, it's the 12th.
uh,
Well, it's the 5th Monday.
yeah,
It's
what's the
sixth
second
is
Monday?
I think it's the 12th,
12th.
'cause mine is the 13th.
I have a quick observation.
You're right.
I noticed that there's a few street signs that have faded.
Somebody mentioned that.
Did somebody mention that? I don't know if we're taking a look at.
Well, we actually make our signs now ourselves. but
Oh, you make them yourself?
Those that are faded, I've got one right outside the front of my house. My predecessor bought a whole bunch of the new design signs, and I like them. You had terrible signage and the old green signs that were faded and all that good stuff. And he got a really good deal on it. And when it came time to tell someone that they had faded, like they're not supposed to do. The person who did them was completely out of business.
Mhm.
So we now do them ourselves, or we can buy the blanks, and we have the material that will not fade in the sun. So if you have one that's faded, just tell Chad and they'll put it on a list and get it done.
Appreciate that. It's like Taylor on Sixth, maybe Tyler.
And there's another one at
Say,
Fourth
take a
and
picture of 'em and
Monroe.
send 'em.
Yeah, I can do that.
Fourth and Monroe's one too, so.
I just got a new sign, so thank you, cause UPS could not find my new house. Over on what is it, Alamo Court? And then I thought it was Alamo Drive. Is it Alamo Street? Anyways, it says street. I thought it was a drive.
It's Alamo.
Okay.
It's Alamo, that's all we know.
Okay.
I don't remember the Alamo, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And for someone who's around City Hall, I've had a couple people say, do you know that on the outside there's still something advertising the Christmas Bazaar or something like that?
Not.
Maybe around the front?
Okay, probably around the front.
Yeah, can somebody
Where do you
take
take
care of
that
that? That's a
down?
little outdated.
I think that needs to be on Marissa's list of things to do from now on.
Yes.
She did not attend tonight, I will volunteer her for it.
There you go.
She's
Yeah,
volunteer.
somebody could take care of
That
that.
shows the council how they're supposed to do that.
Leave it blank or put something more timely to the out-of-town person or anybody strolling up and like,
It's been a very busy August, and we appreciate y'all putting up with it one more time.
Okay, with that, this meeting's adjourned. Good work, everybody.